Welcome back to the Hot Rod Hangout podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Ashley.
And tonight we got some special guests in the house from the Misfire Car Club. We have John and Nadim. And we're going to talk to them about, the show coming up this weekend and some history and stuff like that. So how are y'all doing tonight?
Awesome. Wonderful.
Awesome.
I got lost, but I found it.
Hey, so sometimes you're lost until you find it. All right. So what is Misfire Car Club in a nutshell?
There's a bunch of guys. We used to be the Rumblers. The very core members of us used to be in the Rumblers Car Club.
Okay.
And then 2010, we kind of became a whole another thing, but the guys just followed us, and we've got the show we've been doing for 24 years. Mm-hmm. I think I'm the only original one left, the one at the very first. It was my wife's idea. The name is my wife's idea, Groundhog Gala.
Okay. Yeah.
We had 30 cars at our first show, which was at Johnny's Rock and Bistro. It was called Johnny's Rock and Bistro at the time.
Yeah. Where you folks hail from?
So I'm originally from this area, but we currently live in Bushnell, and Ashley's from Pennsylvania, and she's got engrossed in the cars because of me.
Yeah, Bushnell. That's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. Right?
Yeah, pretty close.
Right. But no, our club is loosely, it's a kind of a loose-knit club, but we're based on, we're car people, but when you're dealing with non-car people, I just say, American Graffiti.
American Graffiti, really?
Yeah, so that's kind of, we're a traditional style club. We like old stuff, so we like old hot rods and custom cars and custom vans, and our tastes are kind of eclectic in a way, but we definitely don't like billet and low profile tires, and you know what I mean? Like, we're car guys, but we have to draw the line with certain stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The podcast basically is I don't really care what you have as long as you're out driving it, but our focus is mainly, at least pre-72, mostly pre-65. So
yeah.
We fit that.
We let people get upset because we let some newer vans in and stuff, but I don't know, man. It's our club. We can do whatever we want,
Right.
Yeah. And that's kind of the car culture for us is, is I don't care what it is. I don't have to like it as long as you do. I mean.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, this stuff, I love Japanese cars. I love all kinds of stuff.
Hell yeah.
I don't like the Carolina squat, though. I got to tell you that.
Not many people do. I feel
we're not supportive of that, but that is kind of our generation's thing right now. So until they figure out that that's not cool, if that's what's going to get them involved in coming out to shows and stuff like that, that's what it's all about. I mean,
all the same stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, we've said it a couple of times on the podcast too. Back y'all's generation was the small block Chevrolet. Everybody could go to a junkyard and grab a small block Chevrolet. Our generation, the LS is plentiful. I still wouldn't put it in an open hood, open side car, but if that's what you can get your hands on for cheap, I mean that's hot rodding.
Well, look at like guys like Finnegan putting a 2JZ Toyota motor in a Dodge Charger,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this was built on being weird. I mean,
exactly.
I drove my English Ford. It's a 1960 English Ford van to the Freeze for All, which is this big van show it's absolutely fantastic. It was up in Dunellen.
Okay.
And I made it there, but I did not make it home.
Oh.
So it died on the way down, but now that and I'm thinking about I'm just going to put something new in it, because I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
This English, you can't get parts for it or anything. So you know what?
Yeah.
Time the auto.
Well, I hope my 54 doesn't have the same experience. We keep pushing it further and further out, so this Sanford will be the longest trip it's had on it. But
there you go. Yeah.
So.
I was in Sanford today, as a matter of fact.
But just I gotta give a shout out to. We have 12 members, kind of like.
Do we really have 12 members?
Yeah, we're like the apostles, like Jesus is the apostles. Or 12 Angry Men, if you ever saw that movie when
yes,
you were
sir.
in school. But it's me and Nads. We got Swiss Mike. Everybody's got a nickname, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Rossi or Mondo Man. We
Man.
got Chad, Brian, James, Yogi, Gary. Miles is Nadim's son. He's in the club now.
Awesome.
Cool.
Scott, and then Paul Coleman. He actually lives in Poole, England.
Oh,
awesome.
And we honorary member years ago because the damn son of a bitch was coming over to
Don't call him that, man. Come on. All that money to come over here.
Yeah.
It's with love. It's with love.
You have to come up with an English.
Oh, the limey bastard. So he's here right now. He's not here in the house per se, but he's in Orlando.
Okay.
He flew all the way over to come to the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you may run into him on Saturday. He's going to
gone
be
to sick week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's into sick week. He loves sick week.
Hell yeah.
I do. I've only been to like an outside cruise meet, but that's about all I've ever seen of it. But it looks like a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shame on me for forgetting, but we actually have 2 listeners that are doing sick week in a Model A, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. That's very cool.
So, and they'll be at the Groundhog. So,
excellent.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going on Friday afternoon.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm just going to go for a few hours and
Take me with
check
you.
it out. Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
All right.
Unless I'm not
that's when they get back to Orlando, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming back to Orlando. Yeah.
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 So anyways, what would you say? I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
What were your early influences as a car guy? Like what got you into the hobby?
All right. So, I grew up trading Hot Wheels. My dad was into pre-72, going to the Webster swap meet on the first Sunday, and he was and he was trading big cars, and I was trading little cars. So, there was a guy there that was a Hot Wheel guy. He always had Hot Wheels, and I would buy 3 or 4 Hot Wheels from him, and I would leave 1 or 2 of them in a pack. And the next month I'd go back and I'd try to trade up or trade 1 for 2 or whatever. And he just knew I was, he wasn't losing any money, but he knew that I was just trying to trade around because that's what my dad was doing. And my dad, unfortunately or fortunately, he had to choose a job a little further away from home, and it didn't allow him to, have the hot rods. And we weren't rich family. I didn't want for nothing, but so he couldn't have the hot rod, the weekend car, and a daily. So he had to sell the hot rod to be able to get a daily, and he was driving an hour and a half to work every day. So we kind of got out of it for a while, and I still had a passion for cars. And then we got into the drag racing for a little while, and me and him built a little 690 8th mile S10 small tire truck. And right around the time that got finished, I learned what girls were. And I was more interested in them than keeping up the truck. So it got sold, and then whenever I moved out, I'd always, I'd we'd got into motorcycles through the years and stuff like that. So then when me and Ashley met, I was kind of, before she even come to the house, that's a unique story, but you'll have to listen to the podcast to hear that one. But when she came to the house, I basically told her, like, hey, if you want to spend time with me, it's going to be in a garage, because I like working on shit. It's way cheaper than therapy. So we ended up buying the 54. It needed a little bit of stuff, but me and her got it running. And matter of fact, there's a front end bolt in my mailbox right now that I got to throw in before Saturday.
Garage romance. Wow.
Hey, but she's ran with it. I mean, she understands that if there's a show, don't schedule nothing, because I'm going to the show. I mean,
I've canceled plans to go to shows.
We went to the River Ranch show on last Saturday. We all had a lot of us drove down there. What a great show that was.
I seen a bunch of pictures of it. I was trying to convince my dad to wire his 34. He just bought a 34 pickup, and it's a beautiful truck. But
where does he live?
Just south of us, a little south of Bushnell.
Oh, very cool.
But he got into it because we were going to lunch, and we would take the 54, and my mom and dad were in something newer. And he's like, it'd be cool to cruise with you again. I'm like, well, come on. So, but he found, and like I said, the truck itself is beautiful, but you know how it is when you buy anything that somebody's messed with, something happens and they just rig it up to make it work, and then add more wiring, and all of a sudden a truck that has no radio or no AC has enough wiring to wire a 87 Kenworth semi truck or something in there.
Right.
So,
but the River Ranch, the worst part about it was the golf carts.
Oh my God!
God-forsaken golf carts. Lord have mercy on
they've
these.
got electric ones that make absolutely no fucking sound whatsoever. Come up on your ass. It's just like they're all. Don't even get me started.
And right when we were going to leave, there was a parade of about 172 of them.
Oh, jeez.
Going 1.7 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
The facility is really spectacular. If you ever just go down there and play Johnny Cowboy for a weekend.
Park tires. Can you pop them? You can pop them, right?
Right, an ice pick works effectively. Yeah.
We're too old. We go to jail now. You know that. In the younger days, we would have done that.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh my God.
So what got you into hot rods or cars in general?
To this question first, because you all don't know, but he grew up in England, which is a mecca for hot rodding.
No, it's not. Not at all. It's not even a mecca at all. It's not a mecca. I mean, no, come on, man. I mean, the mecca is America. It's California.
Yes.
England is not a mecca for hot rodding. England has a lot of hot rodding, but it's not a mecca. I mean, a mecca is something it's central.
Okay.
But there's a very, very strong hot rod culture over there, but it's tiny. It's tiny, tiny. Very, very small in proportion to the number of people that live there. It's really pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was Batman. You asked me a question, I'll answer it. It was the Batmobile.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the Batmobile. That's, with Batman and Robin, and that's basically, I have no history of, there's nobody in my family mechanical or.
Your uncle, though.
Kind of, sort of, a little
bit.
Yeah, no, he had a World War II Jeep in Pakistan. And it was a Willis Jeep. I don't think it was a World War II, but he had a record player in there, 45 RPM record player.
Hell yeah.
And it blue metal flake, and it had rockets and stuff on it. It was a very cool thing. I remember it. And we used to get about 12 people in that thing and go to the beach. It was fun. Yeah. It was smaller, but then that's what got it started, and then it was just. And there was another thing that happened. My dad bought me I was probably about 5 years old. He bought me a '66 Mustang tin toy, Japanese tin toy that battery operator, had lights and tail lights and stuff, but it would go to the edge of a table and never fall off. It has some kind of a mechanism that would back up, and it would do the same thing in reverse, but it would never fall off of a table.
Hell yeah.
And I always wanted to figure out.
And now Mustangs are running into crowds.
Yeah, and I wanted to figure out how it worked. So that's
Yep.
And I just wanted to dig into things to see how they work. Now I've ruined a lot of things in my life doing that.
Well, it's not really ruining it if you figure out how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I just want to figure out how things work, and then engineering and it's just such a passion. I can't even. I've tried to walk away from it. I can't do it.
I think people, Nadim and myself, we both, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of other mechanics, but I think we could have, like if we would have went to engineering school, right? Mm-hmm. But nobody ever saw,
we could have made something.
We could have made something of ourselves,
We made something of ourselves.
Well, you did make something of yourselves. You got cool cars, and it invokes a story whenever we drive them, and that's what it's all about. So,
I love driving them. That's
like, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and there was just no shortage of hot rods and muscle cars everywhere because of all the machine shops. Mm-hmm.
Cleveland is amazing, man.
If you have a place like Detroit or Cleveland or Chicago, fill in the blanks, you've got these people that have skills, and they apply these skills by, building cool stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So everywhere I looked, there was, like drive-ins with cool cars and car shows and cars in the neighborhood. So there was hobby shops and slot car tracks, and I just couldn't get away from it.
I do not envy the snow that the North have, but I do envy the fact that they get to take 2 or 3 months off to build their hot rods in the winter.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Like, you haven't lived until you've worked on a car in a garage with a torpedo heater pointing at your...
Yeah, Scandinavia, that's an absolute hotbed for American cars. There's more amazing American cars in Scandinavia than there are here. All the coolest Cadillacs and stuff, they've all ended up in Sweden, Norway, and those guys are completely insane about that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese, it's just all over the world. And it takes just an enormous amount of dedication to keep stuff like that on the road. We have it. If you think we have it tough, there's places that you're not even allowed to change anything.
Right.
On how people do it,
We made a pretty decent living doing motorcycle parts because it's cheaper to buy a motorcycle, a Harley specifically, over here and ship it overseas, England, Sweden, Hungary. Right. But they have to have all stock parts. So I'm not going to say how much I raped a guy, but he paid it. And for a set of stock mufflers, because he had bought a bike and shipped it over there and rode it like 10 feet. And they were like, hey, you can't have modified exhaust. So he had to order a pair of pipes. Well, over here, we take stock stuff off and throw it away, or it turns into stacks on the back of a couch. And over there, they need them. So they'll pay whatever it costs. And the shipping was more than I charged the guy. And I was like, there's no way. And he paid it because, he had to have his bike.
Yeah, I had to ship a windshield, or it was actually a backlight, for a 64 Oldsmobile to England. And what an experience that was. I think it was almost $1,500 to ship a back window for a 64 Oldsmobile to England. Jeez. But the guy needed it, and I had it. So,
So,
getting parts from Australia for his project, because amazingly, he found somebody that has more of that stuff over there. I'm not allowed to tell you what it is because he's very secretive. So,
secret squirrel stuff.
Yeah,
secret squirrel, exactly.
Right. But anyways, So you're working on a 54
So
right now?
my sorta daily is a 54 210.
Oh, cool.
And then I came across a 32 Ford pickup truck that I couldn't turn the deal down.
Oh man, that sounds cool.
So that's going to be small block powered with an automatic bare metal truck when it's done. So
Right on.
but I was waiting around. We finally got a carport with concrete, so I can finally start on it now.
Well, something that I wanted to make note of was, and you may want to do just a complete podcast about this, but the history of hot rodding in Florida, especially like Central Florida. We've met some people that have lived here for a long, long time, and it is California, a lot of other places want to be in the limelight for, this hobby, but there was a lot going on here back in the 50s and the 60s, more than you would ever believe, and I would have never believed it. This friend of ours tells us about all the customs that were in Orlando in the 50s, 60s.
When Orlando was a small town.
It is, but there was a lot of, I guess it was the military people that were here, and they had excess money and skills, and they were building.
That was and I mean that's my favorite class of hot rods is the guys that just came back from war and they figured out how to make their shit fast. I mean, or cool or whatever it was at the time that they wanted to do, and it wasn't there wasn't as cookie cutter cars now. I mean, it seems like you go certain shows, I'm not going to say any names, but ones with trophies, and it's like there's a checklist for your car to actually be on the front line, and it's like, wait a second, that car back there, or my dad has said it numerous times, the coolest cars are usually in the parking lot because, they don't fit the mold that everybody's looking for, but that dude over there's, he's put his time and effort into it, and it's just as cool as the ones out here, but he's not looking for a trophy. He just wants to talk to people. And that's kind of what we're all about with this is, and I've met some people that I never would have met, but I know they're out there. And for you to say, we need to do an episode on the history of Florida. Yeah, that's 100%. I can't speak on it, but I would love to have people on, and that's why, I try to have, yes, we're a younger generation couple that are trying to keep it alive and we're trying to get younger people involved, but we also need the generation above us or even above that wants to share those stories, the whys, the hows, and wanting to reach out and help people. Because we are nice people, mostly.
I love talking to the older generation when they're gone, I always talk to somebody that's older than me and to just get some snippet, some little bit of wisdom or anything from them. It's so worth it because that's it. And we used to be the young ones.
Oh, and that's the thing. And there's a disconnect, and I've experienced it a little bit, but I had a base in cars, so I kind of just blew it off. But you hear people, and it's the younger guys, and they're trying to learn. I'll be the first one to admit I got no clue how a flathead works. I have no clue how an automatic transmission works. I know there's some magic that happens and it spins the tires. That's all I know. But
don't even talk to us about automatic.
Transmissions.
Lord,
we've had our share of automatic transmission mayhem. You have no idea. I blew on my tea bucket the other day. Jeez, God damn.
So speaking of cars, what cars do you currently have, and what is your favorite?
Dude, I have so many cars. I can't even list them. My favorite is my Consul Capri, 1963 English Ford Consul Capri.
Okay.
That I bought. It's a mild custom. I bought it from the original owner in 1987.
Wow.
For
Cool.
$550 in Tavares, and that's the car that I will never ever sell. It's a cool little. It's a little. Looks like a shrunken down 1960 Ford Starliner.
Okay.
But I made it into. It's got Cragar 4-spoke Cragars on it and metal flake. I painted it myself. I did everything on it.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
Except the chrome, but I love that car, and it's not going anywhere. But everything else is for sale.
Yeah, I say that about mine.
We're driving 2 cars out there on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, a black and a white one. You'll see them when you come on. I can't wait to meet you guys, man.
Yeah, man. We're looking forward to meeting everybody.
Oh, yes.
So, John, what do you got in your stable, and what's your favorite?
Well, I have 2 cars in my garage right now that
Mean a lot
to me.
Yeah.
I have a 39 Ford Coupe Standard and a 69 Chevy Nova, and they have a story. They're connected because the Nova was my car when I was 16. It's actually the car, my first car that I bought when I was 16.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I sold it in 07 to my nephew to buy my house, and he sold it to a guy, and the guy contacted me last year, and long story short, I got it back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's fully restored.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty
really,
badass.
Really a nice car. It's gorgeous.
But the coupe belonged to my mentor, a guy that I grew up literally like 10, 11 years old up the street from where I lived. I grew up in this guy's garage.
What was his name again?
His name was Mike Fletic.
All right.
And when I was 16, he actually is the guy that took me out to help me find my first car.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
And the car was this Chevy Nova, which I have now.
Mm-hmm.
So he passed away in 22 and left me this 39 Standard Coupe in his will for me.
Don't forget to tell him you made a model of it when you were a kid.
Oh. Well, that's kind of a side story. When I was a kid, I made him a model of his 36 Ford Hot Rod.
Oh,
and
it's not the same car.
No, it's not the same car.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The model, my friend, another friend of ours, was cleaning out the garage, found a little metal box on the shelf, and it had my model car in the garage in the box.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Like when I was 13 or 14 years old.
Jeez.
So I got the 39 Ford, the 69 Chevy, and then in the driveway I have a 56 Oldsmobile Project that I'm
sick of.
Yeah.
They go in waves.
LS, I tried to keep it all original. I put a 350 Olds rocket motor in there, and I'm not going to go into it, but it's been driving me crazy. I should have just put an LS motor in there and been done with it, but
well.
So, but we got some cool cars in our club. The guys, we all kind of help each other out. We have some old guys in the club, some young guys in the club, and we all kind of lean on each other, and we bring a lot. Like everybody in our club brings a lot to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind
of skills. Everybody has.
Yeah, everybody has different skills.
Yep.
Right.
And we preach that, if you get a group of guys or girls together and, one of y'all's good at painting, one of y'all's good at welding, one of y'all's good at figuring out how to fabricate something up, y'all can have some pretty cool cars between y'all.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot of other clubs in Orlando, and like I said before, we're kind of a loose-knit organization. We got guys in New Smyrna, Fort Pierce, England, So
the core of us live pretty
The core
close.
of us, yeah.
Yeah, we do live pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So
we try and get together and help each other out. And
That's cool.
we get together more, but we get together.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's about the whole thing in a nutshell.
Okay.
But we're all looking to the show on Saturday, and
next year's going to be our 25th. We'll have a blowout, man.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
To wreck some shit.
Well, if all goes well, the 32 will be done.
It better be.
That's
Yeah,
just
just
32 Ford pickup truck is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's channeled 5 inches.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got a super bell, drop axle in the front, chrome spindles, chrome drums. They're 9-inch. It's gonna be 4-link with coilovers in the rear. Small block, 3 deuce intake, Super 97s. So it should be pretty cool when it gets done.
Right on. Very cool.
there was a similar truck at the show Saturday that's been to our show.
Really beautiful.
Blue's kind of a, what is it? That Ford blue.
Something, yeah. It's a beautiful truck.
Yeah, if it comes to our
Is
show,
that the one you talking about? The one that had the Harley Hummer in the back of it?
I think so,
Yeah.
maybe. But if you see this truck, it'll be inspirational.
Hell yeah.
Really well done. Very traditional. Very just perfect as far as detail, and I'm a detail person. I love when people pay attention to detail.
That was, again, it's on the podcast, but I'll say the story again because it's my podcast.
There you go.
The 32, when I bought it from a guy, and he'll be there too. He has a coupe right now, a Model A coupe, that's super clean. I love that car. But he's building a Trog build Roadster. I don't know if he's going to have he wanted to have it done, but I don't think he's going to have it done for the Groundhog. But when I went to buy it, I told him, I said, man, I don't really know nothing. It's probably going to be considered a rat rod when it's done. And his face kind of like blanked out, like, oh man, we lost another one.
Yeah. Right.
But then when I got to talking to him again, because he had some brake parts that I needed, so I hollered at him, and I got to talking to him, and I'm like, well, really and truthfully, it's not going to be rat rod. It's going to be just not finished traditional. It's not. I'm not welding spider webs just to weld spider webs, and I'm not doing janky work just to do janky work. But
Not make air cleaners out of saucepans.
no, it's got I haven't decided whether I'm going to go with frog mouths or the little individual chrome ones.
My one of my inspirations as far as mentors was my uncle, and he was a member of the North Florida Roadster Club in Jacksonville in the 50s. And he had a 32, and it was flat black, but there was other guys in the club, and their cars were shiny. But he basically said, the only reason my car wasn't painted is because I just hadn't gotten to that point yet. We didn't go out of our way to make cars look bad. I mean, we were striving for excellence.
Well, that was Ryan has a sticker on the back of his coupe that says it's not a rat rod. It's just not fucking done.
There you go.
But
so anyways, but no, we're looking forward for you guys coming out to the show.
Yes.
And it's
Is it over? Is it 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit past 30. We can keep talking though.
Okay, it's been a long day. Yeah.
I got you.
We're just glad to have y'all on and be able to catch up with you before we actually come out to the show. So we appreciate it.
Henry's Depot in downtown Sanford is a really cool place.
It is.
It's an old train depot, and it's got restaurants and bars and coffee shops and everything inside. And next door is
Unfurl Collective.
Unfurl Collective. It's an old kind of a warehouse with a loading dock out front. We'll have live music out there.
Hell
Cool.
Yeah.
Have the bands we're going to have are going to be the Decker and Dimitrov.
Dimitrov.
Yeah, which are kind of like part of the Oak Hill Drifters. Dale Bandy, and then his other band is called Vodka at the Zoo.
Mm.
The Busted Sprockets. They're going to be going on about 3-4 o'clock. So we got a DJ, 5 Aces DJ Joe.
Oh, is Joe DJing?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
There's something for everybody.
Hell yeah.
Vendors. There's going to be vendors, food, drinks. It's going to be a party. I hate calling it a car show.
There's going to be a breakdance contest.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we look forward to it, and we're leaving. We're going to leave with plenty of time to get there. But barring if everything goes smoothly, we'll be there on time. If not, we'll roll in fashionably late.
Cool. Excellent.
You're going to do some breakdancing, right, Matt?
Oh, of course. Breakdown dancing.
There you go.
So,
Moonwalk?
what was that?
Moonwalk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Game on. Let's go.
Me and you, bud.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah. I think that about covers everything.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate it. We look
Yes.
forward to meeting y'all.
Okay,
have a
sounds
great
great.
night.
Thanks for having us on the podcast.
Thank
All right.
you.
Later.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.